Hey guys, it's Khalif, Fat Guy, Skinny Wallet, and I'm doing another one of these Ask Me Anything videos. This one is just going to be talking about personal stuff. I've recorded all of them tonight, so this is the last one, and my throat is like dry because the last video I think I kind of rambled on. So anyway, I'm just going to answer these questions. You see the link above where you can click on to go back to the original video. Leave a comment there if you want to ask me a question, or you can also send me a private message if you want it to be anonymous, and I'll answer it. So Alicia asked, where did you meet your wife? Okay, just briefly, we were both musicians at the time, and we had a mutual friend who was a musician, and we met twice. I saw her and we sort of met at a concert. She also taught dance at her church, and the teenagers who she taught dance to were dancing, and she was trying to, excite them, and I saw her jumping up and down on a chair trying to get them excited. So, that was my first impression of her. Like, who is this weird girl? Why she jumped up and down on a chair like something's wrong with her? So anyway, that was the first one. And then the time I officially met her was at a rehearsal. I don't even know. I remember where it was, but I don't know what exactly we were rehearsing for. We were rehearsing for something, and I think me and my friend were rehearsing, and then he brought her in, and she started playing, and she impressed me with her playing, and so I think we started talking from that. Rob Reno asked, if you were on a plane that was going down and you could call one person, excluding the beautiful Sherrian, who would that one call go to? Okay, instinctively I would say my mother. But I think it would probably be my father. And the reason why is because I think he would be able to handle it better. I think my mother, if I said I'm on a plane, look, Mom, I'm going to die in 3 minutes, she'll be so frantic she won't remember anything else, but I'm about to lose my son. Now my father would be thinking I'm going to lose my son, but I think he would be able to at least handle his emotions enough where where his brain would still be working enough where he can think through, and he can say anything he wants to say to me. I can say, look, I need you to give this, message to my mother, give this message to this person, or do whatever. Look, I'm going to talk you through recording this phone conversation, and you record it. Whatever it is, I think he would be better equipped to do that because of the way he handles things and the way he thinks. We're a lot alike when it comes to that. We don't let things really, stress us or bother us to the point where it kind of throws us away off of logical thinking. So, even when he had cancer and he was in the hospital and, they thought he may die because I think his cancer was, I think it was like stage 3 or something. I actually thought it was 4, but it may have been just stage 3, but I in my mind just remember stage 4, but it might not have been. But anyway, in that point, we both were pretty calm about the fact that he may, be gone in a couple weeks. Thank God, God put him through that. But anyway, that's who I'd probably call my dad. So Angela, Fully Living, and I think she has another channel, I Need More Lives, which is more about weight loss. She asked, do you have children? Are you planning for kids? Any pets? Okay, so she asked something else, so I mean to say that. No, we don't have children. As of right now, we're not planning for kids, and honestly, one of the bigger reasons why is our debt. It's very difficult to even think about that. Any pets? No. No, I'll just say no because I don't want to get a bunch of pet owners upset with me. But no. And she also asked, if you were out of debt tomorrow, what would be the first thing you'd invest in? Myself or ourselves, our business. If we were debt free and we actually, had a substantial savings, we would probably invest in two things. there's a few things. There's a few goals I'll say real quick. One, we want to be able to have a fund. We want to have a savings account that's solely dedicated to blessing other people. So if someone comes and says, I just lost my job and I don't know how, I'm going to pay my car note or how I'm going to pay my rent this month because unemployment doesn't kick or whatever it is. Okay, we can go into that bank account without it disrupting our living, our budget or anything. And we also, of course, want to be able to give and support our local church. We also want to really have our small business take off, the offline and online portions. And I think we would do things to invest in that and to make that a reality so I can work from home full time and we can work together. Susan, Taming the Food Beast, asks, what is the thing you most regret so far in life? Wow. Okay, wow, that's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of instances I can point to say if I would just have changed that, a lot of change has changed. Spiritually, of course, I would say, having sex before marriage. Honestly, I mean, when you're young, well, not anymore because adults don't care about that. But when I was growing up, adults would always tell us kids, don't. And I didn't grow up as a Christian. I didn't become a Christian until I became an adult. But you always be told, don't have sex before you get married. Don't have sex before you get married. This is one thing I regret. So many people told me that. And then when I became a Christian and met people in the church who were trying to live for God, that was always their biggest regret. So I think that was probably one, it would have been great to be able to say that was something I was faithful in, and my wife was my first. I would love to have been able to say that, and I hate that I can't, because even if I try to counsel someone now who's maybe a teenager in their 20s and being pressured, I can't go to my experience to say this is how I overcame it. I can just say I fell, you don't fall. So honestly, that's probably the biggest thing that I regret. The second biggest thing I think is not taking advantage of the opportunities that I had when I was younger. I was always told, and my parents were always told, that I have unlimited potential, especially with my mind. But I just was lazy and didn't want to put forth the effort. And I think a lot of people, a lot of us heard that. But it was like my theme. It was just the thing that followed me all the way through, and I could even see that. When I went to college, let me tell you, I graduated from high school, I think 17, and I went to college, and I was there for 2 semesters. By the time I left, I had a 1.2 GPA, and I earned a total of 5 credits, and I failed a number of classes. So that's something else I regret. Tina, Prairie Princess 1 asks, have you ever lived anywhere besides Jersey? No. I was born in Newark and, stayed there all my life. Tanya Knox asks, what's your favorite color? Okay, she asked a few questions. My favorite color is black. What's your favorite food? Cheese. And if you want anything broader than that, pizza with extra cheese. Where did you meet your wife? Okay, did I answer that one in this video? I think so, right? Yeah, Alicia asked that first question. Where'd you meet your wife? What's the most embarrassing thing that happened to you? Wow. Okay. I don't know how old I was, but I still remember this. Okay, I was old enough for my parents to send me into McDonald's alone. And I had to pee. But for some reason, the line was long, and I made some progress, so I did not want to leave the line to go pee and then have to join it and get in the back of the line. And I thought I could hold it and thought I could make it. Couldn't make it. And, yeah, I just peed all over my pants in the middle of the line at McDonald's. I don't remember anyone's reaction except someone, I think took me outside, or I told them where my parents were, that they would sit. I mean, they were sitting right in the car. They could see me. They didn't know what was going on. But I don't remember their reaction. I don't remember that. But I just remember that situation that I stood in the line in the McDonald's and peed on myself. Yeah, so that wasn't fun. Thanks for bringing that memory back, Tanya. All right. Okay, Zen Maiden 1. Melody, she asked, if you were to come back a second life, who would you come back as and why? I have no idea. I mean, there's no one that I really admire or anything. I guess the one thing probably is that, and I all know, I mean, you look at Hebrews 9:27, it says, appointed to every man once to die, and after that the judgment. So, we know there's no reincarnation or anything, that, we'll be judged on this one life that we live. But I would probably want to just come back as someone aware of the pain of lost time and potential that was never flowered or developed. I think I would love to be that wise at a young age. So it doesn't matter, what I would be, but I would just try to seize the moment and realize what I have in me and, what God has given me and the things that I can do with it, and really just submit that to God at an early age. That would be it. Zen Maiden also asked, if you were king, what would your first mandate be to your subjects? See, that's not fair to ask me that, because I would. Wow, my first mandate. That's difficult. I think I would want everybody to be familiar with God's word. Now, I know you can't legislate holiness. You can't force anyone by law to be holy, be righteous, and to accept Christ. But you can force people, or you can try to train people to at least consider the consequences of their actions. And I think that's something that even in this country, when the Bible was a little bit more revered, because the Bible is just seen as garbage now, but even before I was born, there was a time when the Bible was revered even by people who did not go to church and people who did not, think about God. Even people who had a different religion, they still held the Bible in some sort of esteem, some sort of honor, and had a moral code that was a lot higher than what we see today. So I would probably do that. What's your favorite food at the Christmas holiday time? Pizza. Or anything else that's going to have a lot of cheese, honestly. Actually it's macaroni and cheese. And that goes from Thanksgiving and extends all the way through. I actually have a few people who, not so much now, but probably before I got married. When I was single, I was kind of spoiled. I got to admit that. I was spoiled. And Sherrian, tell you, my wife, I did have a lot of women who would prepare meals for me, because I was a single bachelor, living on my own, working hard, playing music, preaching, doing all this stuff, and I didn't have time to sit there. So, somebody would be like, you like macaroni and cheese? I'll make you some. You like this? I'll make you some. So, yeah, macaroni and cheese kind of went through that whole month for me. So, that's probably my favorite. Okay, finding my new normal, Neva. And I hope I'm saying your name right. Over the past year, what has been your most difficult challenge and also your biggest victory? Doesn't need to be weight loss related. Okay, the most difficult challenge honestly is my wife. For a while, her health got worse. Her health was the worst that we had ever seen, because she encountered a lot of new things that we had never experienced. So that was the most difficult challenge. And also with me falling ill and my testosterone just plummeting. And I don't know if it plummeted or if it was just going down and down and down because I was a caloric deficit for so long. Who knows? But anyway, me experiencing all the problems that I had made it much more difficult to be able to help her the way that I wanted to. Tanya Knox asks, oh, I'm sorry, go back. I was also asked what was my biggest victory. What was my biggest victory this year? That's a difficult one. Honestly, I think that over the last year, I have become a lot more sensitive to sin, and especially my own sin. And I know I'm talking about stuff like this a lot, but I mean, this is really who I am. So when I'm not just talking about losing weight and stuff, I'm thinking about God and thinking about God's word pretty regularly. So, even with that, I became much more. So what I mean is, if I get upset because someone cuts me off on the road, I'm thinking much more often, about my sinful behavior, and I need to stop that anger, and I'm praying that God, would help me with that anger, so that I wouldn't react that way. And in the past, I would justify that action and say that person could have killed me because they cut in front of me, and what if I looked away for half a second? I would have plowed into them, and they are so inconsiderate, and I try to justify it. Now I'm really just looking in my heart and saying, look at this sin that's in my heart that's causing me to react like that to this person, rather than giving them grace and forgiving them. Because if I cut in front of someone and I misjudge and mistime it, I'm going to want them to forgive me, and I'm going to want them to show me grace. And let's not even think about what all that God has forgiven me through Christ. So I've been thinking about that a lot more. So honestly, that's to me my biggest victory. I'm so much more aware of my sin and my sinfulness and my need of Christ daily. What Tanya Knox asked, what do you admire most about your wife? One of the things I mentioned, I don't know if it was in this video or not. No, it wasn't. It was in the one about inspiration. Is that she has this ability to channel all of her energy and efforts into one thing. Now, sometimes that can be a down, a negative if she gets consumed by something. But, I'm the opposite. My brain, I try to multitask. And multitasking, for the most part, is bad. People think it's a good thing. Most of the time it's a bad thing. There's actually been studies that have been done to show that multitasking actually leads to less productivity overall than just attacking one task at a time. But anyway, her ability to do that, even when she doesn't have much energy to give, she's able to channel it and pour it all into one thing, even if that means she has to crash later. And also, her ability to look in her heart and judge her actions and her motives and her sins, and her humility. She is very intelligent. She is very beautiful. She is very well organized. She is very well spoken. She has a lot of great qualities that people see automatically. And when you're like that, it's very easy to be arrogant, or very easy to look down on others who don't do things the way as well as you do or whatever. And she's not like that. And when she ever feels that at all, she is so quick to humble herself and ask for forgiveness. And I mean, there have been times that she's come to me and asked for my forgiveness, and I wasn't even offended. Like, I didn't even know anything happened. I'm like, what? And she's like, well, this is how this is how I felt in my heart when I said this. And I'm like, oh, I didn't even notice there was anything wrong when you said that. But because it was in her heart, she has to apologize to me. I admire that so much about her. Okay, last question. What kind of old man, say 80 plus, do you see yourself becoming someday? I pray that I still have my mental capabilities, and I pray that I'm wise. I pray that I'm wise enough for other people to want to listen to, and I am wise enough to avoid some of the foolish mistakes that I currently make. So I said, hope I'm wise. Alright guys, I know I probably talked your ear off again, But, this is fun. So throw more questions at me because I really love this. I really love just being able to sit and let you guys know who I am and then hear you guys do the same thing and let us get a chance to know you. So, I hope that you know me a little better after listening to this. And that's it. Links above. If you want to ask me anything, go ask it in that video. It'll be better rather than leaving a question here. Just click that link and ask me in that video. Also, send me a private message if you don't want other people to see your question, and hopefully I can provide you with the answer. Alright guys, talk to you next time.